Now, are you a big Jane Austen fan?
Me?
Yeah, either one.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite? JR?
Pride and Prejudice. It will always go down as Pride and Prejudice. I just can't. It's my favorite.
So good. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I like that one. I think Emma I like a little more, but I have a lot of emotional and nostalgia attached to it, especially the movie version with Gwyneth Paltrow. That was the first piece of Jane Austen I experienced, however you want to say it. You know, I hadn't read her, I maybe had heard of her, and then my sister made me watch it, and I'm trying to hide, you know, like, this is really good. I can't show her my face, you know. This is fantastic.
Love it. Yeah. So, in my long experience of forcing men to watch those movies, yeah, Pride and Prejudice and Emma are the two favorites because Knightley is such a stand-up dude. And Mr. Bennet, he's so funny.
But, he's the best.
Guy friends liked Mr. Bennet.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Knightley. I have seen a couple different versions. Jeremy Northam is probably my favorite, but I'm actually in the middle of watching the BBC version with Johnny Lee Miller as Knightley. I can't pronounce the actress's name, but that's a really good miniseries.
Which one that is? The Sherlock Holmes guy played Knightley once.
Oh,
like blonde, shaggy, the newest one that was like
Benedict Cumberbatch. Is that who you're talking about?
Hang on, let me get it.
He was also Edmund in Mansfield Park, so he's played two Jane Austen heroes.
Yeah, it's Johnny Lee Miller plays Knightley. He played Sherlock in the American series Elementary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking the one that has Benedict Cumberbatch. I think it was called Sherlock, and then I can't remember his name, which is a shame.
Martin.
But he played The Hobbit.
Yeah, Martin Freeman.
Yeah. I like Martin Freeman because he reminds me of my best friend in college.
Oh.
It's like, I'm watching Mike. Anyway.
Yeah, and then Romola Garai, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She played Emma in that miniseries. It's really good.
That one's really good. I really liked that one. I wasn't wild about the very newest one. I didn't think he was Knightley. He wasn't Knightley.
They made some choices in that one. There are some parts I like, you know, just like anything. There's parts I like, parts I don't, you know. But I mean, I love the Keira Knightley Pride and Prejudice. That's my favorite. I just think that's so good.
That one is good, but the 6-hour one, like once you see Mr. Darcy, there will never be another Mr. Darcy in your mind. Because
I think it's cinematography versus story. So I think the 6-hour one, we're allowed to get the whole story. But that Keira Knightley one, you're never going to beat that cinematography. So it's all what you're into.
Yeah, very true. Good point.
Well, when it came out, I was really into Keira Knightley, so you know.
Perfect.
Just to be honest, I mean, but yeah, beautiful soundtracks. I mean, and the movies, the scores, they're all just so good. I can listen to it, read a book. You know, that it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had a friend who was in college. He was dating someone. He ended up marrying her, but she invited him over to watch the Pride and Prejudice BBC series, and he said it was like, put it on, and he said it was the most agonizing hour I spent in my life. Every minute just painfully ticked by, and when it was finally done, he said I was in this half asleep stupor, you know, and he was like, oh, well, that was a good show. That was really great. I enjoyed it. You know, he's saying all these nice things, and he said, then she looked at me and was like, "What are you talking about? That was only the first part. There's 5 more." You know? No.
I don't think he gave it a chance because
No, I don't.
the first hour, Mr. Bennett just grabs you.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't the romantic comedy kind of guy, so.
Yeah. And he probably already decided before it started that he didn't like it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. You know, your attitude really does affect you. Yeah. When I first, trying to remember the order I read this all in, I know I eventually did read Emma and enjoyed it, but then I know my sister was trying to get me to read Pride and Prejudice and thought, oh, you know, I don't know if I want to read it. It's, you know, I had my excuses and all that, and I kind of, you know, did sort of enjoy the Emma, but I just liked the movie and I was fine, you know. But I read the book, and then about halfway through the story of Pride and Prejudice, I just couldn't put it down. You know, it began to really, like, this is not just a love story. You know, there's a lot happening. You know, the social drama, yes, the romance, but you know, the scandal, this and that, all these things happening, and I am just devouring it to the end. And like, this is really amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like there's more to that one than the others.
Yeah. I love the strength of her character. Just like, could you imagine during that time frame, you're already like on the age where you're at the cusp of like, if I don't get married, then I might end up a spinster. And then one of the most eligible bachelors ever says he's in love with you. And you're like, no, sir, you literally treated me bad. I am not going there with you. No. Like, that could have just sealed her fate for her entire family, really.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think one of the things that helped me reading Austen was beginning to understand the cultural setting, you know, like that. You know, we joke about, you know, somebody who's, you know, 25 and single as being an old maid, but that was actually a legitimate concern, you know. Have you seen the like the Pride and Prejudice Valentines that kind of pop up on Facebook? You know, there's one of Darcy.
I find you tolerable.
Yes. I love that one. Happy Valentine's Day. I find you tolerable, I suppose.
So good.
I haven't seen those. I'm gonna have to look now.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys are football fans at all. I'm not really, but there were some memes that came out after the Super Bowl that people started turning into Jane Austen memes, like
like the yelling.
Yeah, the one here. Like I don't know if you can see that, but
where he's yelling at him.
He's yelling at the coach, and so somebody photoshopped a bonnet on Kelsey there, and it uses the quote, "I take no leave of you, Miss Bennett. I send no compliments to your mother."
That's great.
Love it.
That is great.
Yes.
The best one I saw was, "Did you put your name in that goblet, Harry?"
Oh, that is good.
Yeah. Here's another one. It's a picture of Taylor Swift and somebody else she was next to, all excited at the football game. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, I've seen that.
The
Big
caption says, "Netherfield Park is let at last."
Excellent.
And then another one says, "Look, Kitty, it's the militia."
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Headquartered at Meriton?
Oh my god.
Now, yeah, so I'm not a football fan at all, but I liked those memes that came out. It was a clash of worlds there that I really enjoyed. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, we just we got off on all kinds of topics here. This is great. I love it. We're turning this into a Austen fan cast here today. So.
Yeah, really.
Now, have you both read all of her books?
I realized the other day that I have not read Lady Susan, the other unfinished one. So I guess I gotta put that on the list.
Yeah.
I haven't either.
I've read it, but I couldn't tell you what it's about.
Oh.
It's I
Does it not get rolling? Like
I think it's like a novella, short story kind of thing. And part of my problem is it's epistolary, letters. And for some reason, I really struggle with that kind of storytelling format. I don't know what it is, if it's just the change of like one letter to another letter and trying to keep the story together in my head. I don't know. But I usually, with someone like Austen or Dickens, if it's a story that I read and like, I don't know what that was about, I'll come back to it, and try it again. So I haven't lost all hope, but
yeah,
I've seen
timing is everything.
What's that?
Timing is everything too. Like
Right.
when you read it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that was my experience with Persuasion, reading Persuasion. First time I read it, I just could not get through it. And
me too.
I'm like, this is such a slog. And my sister, this is her favorite book of all time ever. And to hear me, dissing this book, she wasn't having it. And I got in trouble for that one, but I came back to it later when I had a better understanding of Austen, better understanding of the Regency era and all that. And then second time through, I'm like, this book, it was like I'm reading a completely different book. I'm like, okay, I get it now. Yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, like you said, understanding the culture makes it so there's actually stuff happening in the middle. But still, like, I think at least my copy was broken up into book 1, book 2. So I read the first half so many times because I would like stop and then, I don't know, just not go back for some reason or another. So yeah, it took me a long time to get through it. Sorry to your sister.
How about you, JR?
That is one that I don't remember reading because I did it in high school. It was so many years ago.
Okay.
But I recently found this beautiful copy of Jane Austen's complete works. And so I had to pick it up. I couldn't walk away with it or without it. And so I actually have started that again, obviously with Pride and Prejudice first. But it is in there. So I'm eager to get back to it. But yeah, I had a heavy reading list in high school and the suggested reading, I did it all. So I need to revisit it.
Yeah.
So what order are the stories in? So Pride and Prejudice is first, or you're skipping around?
No, Pride and Prejudice is actually first in the compilation. And then I think after that is Emma, then Mansfield Park. So I don't know if it started with maybe the most popular and then kind of worked its way, like what the masses deem as the most popular. But honestly, I feel like you said, some of Jane Austen's works are kind of hard to get through because they're a little slow going at first. So Pride and Prejudice makes sense that it's kind of at the beginning because that's one that I think a lot of people would be like, oh, keep going through that, get into it, and then be like, okay, now I'm ready for maybe some of her harder works. So I'm not really sure what the reasoning behind the order was. But.
She's one of those writers that, to me, I think it's just an absolute tragedy she died as young as she did. I just finished reading a biography of the Brontes sisters, and all of them died at really kind of a young age. Well, especially Emily and Anne both died at a young age, and like Charlotte, she wrote Jane Eyre, which is this signature work of Victorian literature, and to the point where I've read her other novels and they're, I think, just as good. In fact, some of them I actually enjoy more than Jane Eyre. But don't tell the Victorian Literature Committee, whoever that might be. But
Charlotte Bronte.
yeah. All of their books and like with Wuthering Heights, I don't know if you've read Wuthering Heights. I can't stand that book. I hate it, but I've read it like two or three times. And
Yeah. It's a hard one. It's heartbreaking.
I don't know what it is. I keep coming back to it. Like, I'm gonna crack this book and figure out why people like it. But even in that, I don't. It's the characters I just don't like. But I can tell, like, she is so gifted at writing scenes and atmosphere, and just all three of them were so gifted. I can't help but think, what could they have written if they had lived? I don't know. Maybe because we have so few of their works, that's partly what makes them so great. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read Wuthering Heights because it's depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty depressing. Yeah. Yeah.
One of the reasons I like Jane Austen, because you know where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the good thing about it is, like with Wuthering Heights, I mean, if you really think about it, yes, it's depressing, but if you look at it from an author's standpoint, like she invokes in the readers very well exactly what she was trying to get you to feel when you read it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So from, that perspective, I mean, it's a really, really good. Like she's taking you on this hugely emotional journey with multiple characters through the whole thing, and you're not going to feel good at the end, but you feel what it is she was trying to get you to feel. And sometimes as a writer, that could be hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
to make the readers really get emotionally invested in what you're writing.
Yeah, and in that sense, I think with me, she was probably successful then, because I get enraged when I read it. Like, oh, these people are terrible. I hate them all.
Yes.
Mission accomplished.
I'm going to read it again.
Yeah. And as a cozy mystery author, we have to write antagonists. And for me, that's the hardest thing for me to do, is to write someone that the reader is really just gonna hate and then feel so excited that they got justice against this horrible crime that this horrible person committed. So I struggle with I feel like evoking enough hatred for the killer.
Mm-hmm. There's one of my favorite mystery books is written by Louise Penny, and the murderer in one of those books is such a sympathetic character, and that was one of the few books I kind of guessed who the murderer was, but I spent the whole book hoping it wasn't, and it turned out it was, and I was just crushed. And I'm like, oh, that poor sweet person, it's just like,
oh, interesting.
It was, oh man, she's a master. Tell you what.
Who is that?
That one is, I should put up spoiler alerts for that one, but it's the second one in her series. But I love her books. They're like in a cozy mystery setting, but they're not cozy mysteries. The mystery itself is pretty intense.
Cozy, more like a thriller.
Yeah, more like a thriller. Yeah. I love the main character in that one. Inspector Gamache. He's just a very kind and thoughtful person, but he will always do what's right, even if it's at sacrifice of himself. It's just good. It's I don't know. Read a lot of mysteries and thrillers and things. You just get a lot of there's just a lot of anger and bitterness and stuff in the world, and I just like to imagine there's this guy out there who's choosing kindness and solving mysteries and saving the day, as it were. But
I want to read that.
Yeah, it's a good series. I'd recommend her. Yeah. Boy, let's see. We've talked about, Jane Austen, the Brontes. How about Agatha Christie? Any good Christies lately?
Right. I haven't read any Christies lately, because there's either ones that I haven't read and I can't find, or I've read them.
Yeah. Well, I haven't read any Agathas lately, but I will say a certain someone who also might be on this Zoom, not naming names, Jessica, sent me this really awesome puzzle, and it is an Agatha Christie puzzle, and it's 1,000 pieces, and you put it together, and it's hard. It took me, like, my husband and I 2 weeks to put it together, and we work on it every day. So you get the whole thing put together, and then it's her sitting in her office, and there are 92 clues hidden in the picture that are from various books. So you have to go through and you have to see how many clues that you can spot once you get the puzzle put together.
Mm.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then the back is even like it comes with this huge poster, and then on the back of the poster, it shows you where all of the clues are located, but it
Mhm.
tells you this story about Agatha Christie's life. And as you go through, it reveals the 92 clues in the story that are in the picture. So you can see how it like all comes together is the coolest thing.
Mm.
Cool.
Yeah, I got a kind of a similar one. A couple years ago, I had one of Charles Dickens. It was about 1,000 piece, and it was a drawing of Victorian town, and there's all these little scenes throughout, and you have to try to figure out if you can tell which book that scene is happening in. So like A Christmas Carol was easy to figure out.
Yeah.
But so that was fun. I got it finished and framed it, but that was a hard one. I'm like, I'm not taking this apart. This is going in a frame. Yeah.
I haven't read through the 92 clues because I have the puzzle too, the Agatha
Oh,
Christie puzzle.
uh-huh.
So I haven't read through the clues because I was like spotting them, and like a family was had to. I tried to hold back from geeking out too much. So okay, I'm going to find someone to quiz me on the 92, and I'm going to see if I can find them without cheating.
There you go. Yeah, I think I just found that puzzle. That looks fun.
It
Uh,
was so much fun. And of course, I'm the only Agatha Christie fan in my household.
mm,
But so it was I was totally nerding out. I was like, oh, there's that one. Oh, there's that one. And it was just so much fun. And then my son was like, hey mom, what's this one too? What's it? And there were a few that I didn't
Oh,
know.
cool.
Yeah.
mm,
So it was a lot of fun. And
Cool.
we do puzzles all the time at our house. In fact, my husband just brought home a puzzle that he purchased because it looks like the way I describe Basil's house, Basil's cottage. So
mm.
that's the next puzzle that we're doing, and I'm going to frame that one because he bought it just because of the setting.
Ooh,
Yeah.
cool.
What a great guy. Yeah, neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has my heart.
Yeah, good. Good. Tell him to give it back. No, okay. Sorry, I just read a mystery where the killer would remove hearts from the bodies. It,
Oh,
it was it was pretty. It wasn't a cozy mystery by any stretch. So
Yeah.
yeah.
A little
Yeah.
doom.
little gross, but
Little
it
gore.
was a good mystery. Yeah, and then for Christmas this year, I got the Jane Austen version of that puzzle of the Dickens puzzle. So I'm looking
Cool.
forward to putting that together sometime.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh,
have to look
that.
that one up. That would be
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you like look up the world of Jane Austen puzzle, let me
okay.
see. And for folks listening to this or watching this, I'll put some links in the show notes there.
Cool.
Yeah, it's Lawrence King is the publisher, I guess. But it's the world of Jane Austen, and it has like the town and scenes and everything in it that you can try to figure out what they are. Yeah,
Oh, I found it.
Cool.
it's just fun. I just catch myself staring at it still, trying to see all the pictures and stuff in it. Yeah.
Well, to take it kind of back to the anthology, because I know
Hmm.
we've kind of talked a lot about different characters and different settings and all of that kind of stuff. Like in our St. Patty's Day anthology, The Luck of the Irish, the readers get to experience St. Patty's Day from different cultures and different areas. They're not all set in Ireland. So they kind of get to experience things from different viewpoints as they go through and they read the different stories in there. So
Hmm.
that's kind of fun too.
Yeah, that's what I like about those uh, like mystery anthologies is you get uh, what am I a taste of what the authors are like, so that you can then hey, I want to check out their writing more,
Yeah.
and yeah. Yeah, that's always fun. So I expect I'm gonna have so much more to read by the end of the year. Thanks to this collection. It's gonna be, which is a good problem to have, I suppose.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, ladies, I would love to keep talking, but it's getting late. If I'm not in bed soon, I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. So,
We'll come back next time we have a book.
okay, yo, please, yeah, definitely. Yeah, this has been great. And we'll always find something fun to talk about, I'm sure. So I know you both have a website, I believe. JR, what's your website? Where can folks find you?
Mine is jrlancaster.com.
Okay. And then Jessica, let's see, yours is Jessica Thompson author.com, is that right?
Yeah, I
All
had
right.
to add author.
See, I've had you on so much now, I can remember your website.
Cool. Thanks. Right now, you can pre-order our upcoming anthology, and it's called Luck of the Irish. It's a collection of cozy mysteries, and yeah, it's half price if you pre-order.
Yes.
Yep.
Kindle, the ebook I think is $1.99 right now, and then
Yeah.
the print version is $3.99. Is that right? No.
I don't know. I don't know the print version price. But yes, the Kindle's $1.99. Another project I'm working on is putting my books on audiobook.
Okay.
So Valentine's and Violence, A Caterer's Guide to Valentine's and Violence, just went on sale for audiobook, and I didn't get to pick the price. I was surprised how much audiobooks are. Audiobooks are even more than paperbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I shouldn't be saying that. Buy my audiobook. It's a perfectly reasonable price.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. What kind of a promoter are you? Come on.
I mean, it makes sense because you're paying two people instead of one, but still,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for my blood.
But it's
Well-
fun to see your characters come to life like that.
Yeah.
And she nailed it. The
Now-
narrator. Oh
Yeah.
man, she gets it.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Now, do you have a say in who narrates or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she approached me, and then it was like, "Wow, you're perfect." So it was a really smooth road.
It was a
'Cause it
perfect
wasn't
meet
even
cute
on
for
my
her.
radar yet.
Yeah.
What was that?
It's a perfect meet cute for you. Yeah.
It was. It really was. So now she's doing Shoot, Shovel, and Shut Up.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, I love audiobooks though. I mean, if I didn't listen to audiobooks, I wouldn't get through very many books in a year. So
Same.
that's my secret weapon here when it comes to reading is if it's an audiobook and I can get it through my library app or something. Our library has like a limit of 10 books you can have on hold for audio or ebook or whatever, and I've got all 10 full right now, waiting for them to come in. And it's like, come on, I got more I need to get.
Yeah. It's a great way to support authors.
Yeah. That's something I've learned is that I've always wondered, if I got it from the library, is that still supporting an author? But it is definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and it's great because my wife is a librarian, so I can tell her, hey, this is a really good book. The library needs to buy this book,
Yeah.
Yeah. Even better.
Yeah.
A way to request it without even leaving your house.
Yep. Sometimes I'll ask her to get something on the interlibrary loan. If our library doesn't have it, I'll just send a message. Hey, can you get that for me? Oh, yep, sure.
Ah, cool. Yeah, that's on my list of like free ways you can support an indie author. It's like go to the library and request their book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And another fun way is to start your own podcast and invite them on. So, JR and Jessica, thanks for coming on. That was my segue to the end here. So,
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
thank you so much. This was fun. I needed a good laugh tonight, so this was perfect. And you both, I hope you have a good St. Patrick's Day. I hope you catch a leprechaun finally. So,
We're gonna try.
all right.
At least me and my son will. So.
All right, perfect. Okay, and everyone else, get this book, collection of stories, Luck of the Irish, on sale now for pre-order. and get you right in the St. Patrick's Day spirit, I guess, if there is such a thing. I don't know. This isn't a holiday I celebrate much, but all right. Well, everyone, eat corned beef carefully and enjoy your reading. So thanks again, ladies, for coming on.
Thank you.
Bye, Art.
Bye-bye. Take care.